Today I'm going to be featuring two palettes, one of which is a new indie brand to me, and that is a Wicked Widow palette, and this is the Graveyard Smash palette. And I'm also going to be finally trying out the Warlock palette from Fantasy Cosmetica. So excited to dip into both of them. Unfortunately, I did not have time to do a dedicated video on each of these palettes, so I thought I could combine them into one video. Now, the Fantasy Cosmetica Warlock palette also came out with a bunch of lip oils, and here they are. There is a black with sparkle, a really beautiful kind of orangey dark red, an aqua with sparkles in it, a mustard orange, and then a really dark plum. Unfortunately, I think I had some sort of allergic reaction to these, so I cannot wear them, so I'm not even going to be swatching them in this video, but there's lots and lots of content, lots of swatches out there already. I love this inside color story. I think this is definitely one of my favorites from Fantasy Cosmetica. I have tried most of their other palettes, so I'm familiar with their formulas of shimmers and mattes, and I cannot wait to dip into this. There's some really beautiful shimmers in here. A brand that is new to me is Wicked Widow Beauty. They sent over the Graveyard Smash palette, so thank you so much for sending it over so I could try out your brand. I think this is such a cute theme, and I love the color story. Definitely very fall, a little bit like spooky season appropriate, obviously. I really like the ratio of the shimmers to the mattes. I love that there is a deepening up shade as well. So I'm going to be creating one look with each of the palettes, and then I'll give you some of my thoughts at the end of the video, so let's get right into it. Taking Freaky Frank onto the inner third of my lid for this first look using the Graveyard Smash palette. And then right next to that, I'm going to wipe off my brush and I'm going to go in with Groovy Ghouls. Really excited to be trying this brand. And I'm going back in with Freaky Frank. And I just had primed with the Look Makeup Hydro Grip eyeshadow primer for no particular reason. Just honestly been kind of switching it up in between all my different eyeshadow primers because I have a lot. And I'm going to be taking Bewitching Bride on the outer corner to just deepen this up. So far these are applying very nicely. And I'm just kind of slowly working it in and then underneath my little lash line as well. Look at this pigmentation. Taking a little bit of just setting powder. And I'm just going to go over the edges of this. And then I'm going to take a little bit more of this shade and just packing on the outer corner. Sometimes when I have lashes on already, I miss like the very, very outermost corner closest to my lash line. I am going to use the Fairney Pixie Poxy. Picked up Fright Night. I'm going to pop that on an angle onto this kind of center outer lid. This is actually a little bit more sheer than I was expecting. Ooh, that is really, really beautiful. That is a really stunning shade. Okay, and then I think I want to go in with Thrills and Chills. This looks like a really stunning shimmer. Oh, yes. Okay, okay. That is such a beautiful, like, dimensional kind of green. And then on the inner corner, I'm going to go in with Weird Waltz. Okay, these shimmers are applying so nicely with a brush. I kind of want to go in, I'm going to take Harvest Horrors on the same brush, which is actually like a, you know, putting down shimmer shadow kind of brush, but it has a nice thin edge to it, so I think it will work nicely to put it underneath the rest of my lower lash line. I'm just bringing it and I'm going to be blending it into the purple, which nothing says more Halloween than purple and orange together. Just kind of blending them further together. Just a little bit of back and forth. This one is super, super pigmented. Also, I have like no fallout. Here's the finished look. So on this side, I'm going to go in with the Warlock palette. I really, really, really want to use this shade. Picking up Packed and putting it into my crease, but not all the way out here. I'm just going to keep it right here. And then I'm taking Profane and I'm going to pop that onto this outer corner and a little bit underneath my lower lash line and just work it out and blend it out. I'm going to be putting Occult in there. So this is just kind of going to be helping it blend into it. I'm taking the same brush and just some setting powder and going over the edges of that. Taking the same brush and Occult, putting it right onto the outer corner. Ooh, that gives me so much depth. I'm gonna wipe off my brush just so that I don't have too much on. Because then I could just blend and blend for days and it will be so pigmented. So just trying to control it a little bit. Also taking a cult underneath my lower lash line just to connect it with the outer corner. And I'm gonna try to keep it really close to my lash line. And then I'm going back in with a blending brush and just blending. Picked up Ritual and I misted my brush just to hopefully avoid any fallout. And again, I'm just putting it on an angle, bringing it a little bit onto the outer portion as well. It's just going to be a little transition. And then I dipped into Patron and I'm going to pop that onto this portion, which it has definitely like a pinky base to it, which is why Power is perfect to be in this palette with it. So it's gonna look a little interesting up against this yellow, but because it has a flash of like teal, I think it actually works fine. Here's a finished look. So first I'm going to talk about the Warlock palette. I'm pretty familiar with the shimmers and the mattes from Fantasy Cosmetica, and I gotta say these are really nice and very pigmented, very blendable. The shimmers are so beautiful. None of these are squishy. They have a little bit more of an emollient formula to them though, and they are so shiny, and I think all of them are very smooth. No like flaky textures or anything like that. Love the color story. Again, like I said, this is one of my favorite color stories from them, and I'm always really excited to see what they're coming out with next because I feel like they're honestly really truly killing it with the gaming theme. As for the lip oils, unfortunately I cannot use these. I guess these are supposed to be lip plumping. However, for me personally, they did not feel like the usual lip plumping sensation, which usually is more like tingly and it kind of burns and then it goes away. These were like a really gradual numbing feeling, and I absolutely hate numbing cream or numbing anything. Like I hate the feeling, especially on the lips. It really freaked me out, so I cannot wear these, which is really unfortunate because they smell delicious and they feel moisturizing from what I could feel in the beginning. But it was really weird kind of sensation that took about like 30 minutes for me to really start to feel the numbness going on, and it just got worse and worse until I would go like this and I literally couldn't feel my lips. And then I wiped it off, I scrubbed it off, I put on regular chapstick, and I could still feel the numbing sensation for hours. Like it took forever to wear off, which is very unusual for a lip plumping kind of product. If you have ever had allergic reactions to anything like this, or you don't like any kind of sensations on your lips, then I would stay away from these. Maybe it's just a me problem, maybe I'm just allergic, but unfortunately I cannot recommend these and I can't wear these, which it does kill me because I do love the shades. I think they're super fun. Now on to the Graveyard Smash palette. Now I didn't use all the shades, so I didn't use Monster Mash, which seems like a kind of satin kind of shimmer, so honestly not really something I would gravitate towards anyway. But the rest of the shimmers really actually surprised me because I kind of thought when I first saw the palette like in person and I opened it that the shimmers seemed like they were kind of like a standard shimmer formula, which nothing is wrong with that at all. But you know, I love me my super shiny sparkly kind of shadows, but I do gotta say that these are really nice formula of shimmers. I think the shiniest is definitely Fright Night, Thrills and Chills, and then Weird Walt is a little bit like less shiny but still really nice and smooth and metallic. They're all very smooth and metallic, which is great because you don't have to worry about any skin texture accentuation on the lid. The mattes blended really nicely. I definitely need to test them out a little bit more, but so far so good. Definitely buildable, but also very pigmented at the same time, like depending on how much you pick up on your brush. First time ever using their mattes and no issues whatsoever, and I'm really excited to see what kind of other fun themes they will have coming out in the future. I love to see these indie brands just really creating some really interesting color stories as well as some really cohesive themes. And I also love that both of these palettes have quite a bit of like a smaller condensed color story, and they're also both very affordable, so love to see it. Let me know in the comments below which look was your favorite. If you've tried Wicked Widow Beauty before, if you've tried the Warlock palette, I would love to hear your thoughts. And that's everything for this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next time.